Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob Restituto. I have the incredible honor of having, is it pronounced Cedric Gegel? Or how do you pronounce it? I forgot to
Oh,
ask
you
you that
nailed it.
behind
You
the
nailed
Okay,
it.
Cedric Gegel here on
Perfect.
the channel.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. We're going to have some really cool conversation, man. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy day, super busy day, bro. Honestly, I was watching some of your videos, and you got some cool stuff cooking, man.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm directing a TV pilot next week and another short film at the
Wow.
end of the month, and I'm shooting 4 films this month. So it's busy times. But
Yeah, for
dude,
real.
I'm so happy. This is nuts because I actually watched your Hamilton reactions
Really?
when you were doing that because I actually saw Hamilton when it was in previews in New York. My twin sister and I won lottery tickets, so we were like some of the first people to see it. And then I saw it again like 2 years later, and I got to go backstage and meet everybody. So I love watching
Wow.
those. And to hear you like break down the instrumentation, I was like, dude, I saw that live twice, and I never caught that. Like that's so yeah, man. This is neat. This is cool.
Wow, that is well. It's an honor that you would uh check out my channel and check out the
Yeah.
videos.
I mean,
That's
I
it's
don't
so.
I don't like you, but
Hey, it's totally fine. Come here for the content. That's funny. Somebody says nice shirt. We were just talking about your shirt. And
thank you. Yes. Yeah. I was telling Jacob this. I found this at a Goodwill. I like Charmander. Mudkip is my favorite. Like if I had a Mudkip shirt, I would be really excited. But yeah, I did. I just started Pokemon X. My brother
oh,
gave me his old DS games that he like because he got into Pokemon after me, but I didn't have a DS, so he did. So he let me borrow all of his old games. So I didn't know that you could get a first gen starter. So like yesterday, I was playing it at like 6 in the morning because I had just woken up, and I was like, "What? Charmander, let's go!" So now I'm
that's
back
cool.
on my Charmander crap. I'm
Hey,
back.
man, it's coming back, bro. I played all those games when I was a kid, and
So good.
yeah, I absolutely, absolutely.
I like that you
So,
clarified that you were a kid and not like a
well,
26
no.
year old grown man like me. Like,
I didn't finish my thought. I was about to say when I was a kid, but then something happened when I hit middle school, and they were like, it just became uncool, and I was like, well,
yeah,
this
yeah,
sucks. I'm like, who decided this is uncool anymore? Because like I'm
yeah,
totally like still down to play it, and then it kind of faded because I personally stopped playing video games just because
yeah,
I
yeah,
ran out
yeah.
of time. But bro, I broke out my Game Boy Color recently,
Nice.
and
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, where am I gonna find AA batteries? Because nobody uses batteries. So I went and got batteries and I plugged it in. I was playing around with my game. So no, I want to unclarify the fact that I was a kid. I'm still a
See, it
kid, bro.
helped me that in middle school, yeah, it was uncool, but so was I. So I was like, yeah, we're still playing Pokemon. We're still playing Yu-Gi-Oh. We're doing the whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, man, come on.
let's go.
So you're 26 now.
Yeah, yeah.
So okay, so first thing we have to talk about is I want to show the screen actually on YouTube really quick so they can see this. But so they're seeing my MacBook screen. I'm pulling up your Amazon right now. You can see the Amazon Kate is
Oh,
it pronounced Cadia? Sadia?
Kadia,
Okay,
yeah. Sadie
dude.
is neat. I've never gotten that pronunciation before. That's
I
neat.
apologize, but. But yeah, you can literally watch. It says directed by Cedric Gegel, like right on the thing. You can go
Yeah,
if you have Amazon, watch it,
yeah,
or if you're in the U.S. But
yeah.
still, let's talk about how does that happen?
uh, yeah. It happens primarily by luck and good fortune.
Okay.
So that was my first feature that I ever wrote, and I legit had no idea what I was doing. I didn't really know like 3 act structure or anything. I just knew that I had read books and watched movies, and I was an actor in college, and I wanted to try writing something, and it was never meant to be what it was. It was just meant to be like me writing something and something I'd make with some friends.
Mhm.
And as we started to kind of build up our company, because we wanted to make sure we had all the paperwork in place, we kind of said, well, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. Let's get a little bit of money. Let's get some investors, and
Who's
then
we?
investors. Me and my business partner Zach Throne, and my DP Daniel Steeman, who's incredible, and I'm so blessed to have gone to college with that man because he is one of the best people with a camera that I've ever met. And
What is a DP?
cinematographer. So he runs the camera on the film. So he and I worked on how we're going to shoot it, and how we're going to approach each day and what we need to do. And yeah, it kind of became, well, if we're going to get investors and if we're going to try to get a deal with this thing, then we need to get big names. And I'm a huge
Yeah.
Psych fan. So
So I saw that, bro. You had the dad from
yeah,
Psych. I've seen
yeah,
every
Corbin
single episode
Burnson.
of Psych. I've seen every
Yeah,
single one of my favorite TV shows.
yeah, I love it. And Corbin is awesome. Obviously Major League LA Law. He's a 2-time Golden Globe and Emmy nominee, and so getting him was huge. And he and I have stayed in touch, and he is so cool and so funny. And so having him was like that blew my mind when we got the contract signed, and I was like, what? Like we got an actor that I grew up watching in middle school when it was cool, and then we kind of went, well, we have this other part, so who do we want to go get? And I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and so having seen the movies, I was like, well, you know what, James Phelps, who played Fred Weasley, I really like him. Yeah. Can we go get him? And we sent the script and sent an email, and they said, yeah, let's do it. And so we got both of them, and it was nuts.
How does that work? How do you even begin like sending that stuff out?
Yeah, well, the first thing to know is that the worst thing they can say is no, and that is probably what they will do.
Or if you even get a response.
If you get a response, which is incredibly rare, but for us it was kind of like, we laid out specific reasons on why we felt like they were the right fit. So, for James, he's so charming and likable in the films, and he sort of has the it thing. For Corbin, I knew he could play a dad. The characters are kind of young, so I figured he could play the grandpa, but I knew he could bring that kind of twinkle in his eyes and that storytelling aspect that he's based on my own grandfather. So I needed someone that I knew could tell stories. And Corbin has that in droves. And so we literally said, like, Corbin reminds me of my grandfather on whom the character is based, and I just know he could nail this part. And here's, it's a I call it a faith-based film, but I feel like that puts it in a genre that I don't particularly like.
You said faith or fake?
Faith. It's not a faith-based film.
Okay. Well, because it's also sci-fi, so I wasn't sure if that was a different form of sci-fi that I was not understanding.
I would put it more in like the fantasy type genre, but it was kind of, we knew he did a lot of those and that was important to him, and so we knew it would work with our audiences too, because they know him from those movies as well. And so they said yes, and I literally couldn't believe it. Yeah.
How does that work though? Like when you say they, like I'm even trying to figure out how you even contact these people, because like I would love to have some of these people like on for interviews, and like I just don't even know where to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there are some industry. God, that's so pretentious. You must have the industry sources.
Wait, take the cigar out of your mouth, bro. I'm sorry, I can't hear you with the.
You peons wouldn't understand. But no, there are just some sources that you have.
Interesting sources.
If you're willing to pay for services.
Okay.
Which you kind of have to when you're at. This sounds so pretentious. When you're at my level,
I'm trying to get to it, bro. Let me teach me your things.
so for example, on IMDb, to have a picture, you have to pay. And at a certain point, a couple of years ago, I was like, I'm getting enough work that like I should really pay to have this up. And productions prefer.
Well, when I typed your name in, IMDb was the first thing. I was like, yo, this guy's legit. Like so it worked on me, man. It worked on me.
So exactly. And once you reach a certain point, like if you know people are going to be looking up, you submit casting directors, Google your name, directors, Google your name. And so I was paying for that. And so once you start paying for that, you have what's called IMDb Pro, which can give you access to a lot of the agents and managers and publicists. So for someone like you, if you're looking for interviews, publicists are a person you can reach out to, and that information can be found there. But I think the big thing is, for us, it was knowing who we were and where we were and what the film was. So it wasn't like we were going out saying we're making the next Lord of the Rings and I'm the next David Fincher. And, it was like, hey, this is our first movie and we're doing it on a micro budget, like super low budget. And that's what it is. And you should know that straight up. And, for a lot of people, we didn't get a response. There were some other big name, like A-list talents that I won't name here that did get back to us. And they said like, really? Hey, such and such is busy. For example, one of them was shooting a very big movie series that you've all seen. And they were like, he's doing this for Disney right now. And I was like, well, they're paying him more than we will. So that makes sense. But they were like, but we do want you to reach out in the future because this was well written, and so that's huge. You want to leave a good impression, and absolutely, and again, know who you are and kind of what you are. Right?
Do you have a general idea of how many people you reached out to?
Honestly, it was 10 to 15, maybe.
Okay.
So not a huge number. Okay. Now we're working on our next feature now, and we're going through the same thing all over again. So it's a cycle.
I believe it. So you think that this might be a good option for me if I'm looking to get interviews with people and stuff to pay for IMDb Pro?
It could be, yeah. It could get you some contacts.
Might have been such a scam. You know what I mean? Like it's like the pro version of everything. I didn't know it was actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on what you're trying to do with it, right? So,
Sure.
yeah, if you're working in the capacity that I am, where it's, yeah, I'm acting. So I don't really, I need it as an actor just for the picture. Like that's really the only thing that it's useful for. But as someone who also works in development and trying to attach cast and
Sure.
get financing and get meetings, that's where it's useful, is because it has all that. Not all of the contact information. It's not
Sure.
like,
Sure.
I can
So,
get Tom Holland's phone number.
yeah. Oh, here's
Which
the Rock
Tom,
cell phone
Tom, if you're
number.
watching this, DM me because we can work on something.
Absolutely, man. Oh, that's so funny. So I love that your fan base name is the Sedgehogs. How did that come about?
Oh, this is a fun interview because I don't know what questions you're gonna ask. These are the best kind.
I agree because when in previous interviews I've had to give some sort of like, hey, what kind of questions are you gonna ask? Not like I need a specific list, but like, what do you? And then it just, I feel like it adds this extra pressure. Like, I have to stay within the lines. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but like I say,
keep me on my feet. Yeah.
Well, I'm not, like I say before we start any interview, like I'm not putting you in the hot seat. I'm not like trying to like screw your career over here. I just want to have fun. And
you're like, what's the worst movie you've ever been in?
Yeah, exactly. It's not. What other YouTubers do you hate? You know,
yeah. Well, it's funny too because this isn't like, with my YouTube videos. If I say something and I'm like, ooh, I don't like that, I just cut it out. I'm sorry. What was your question?
Where the Sedgehogs come from?
Yes. Yeah. So, first of all, I never expected. So to all the Sedgehogs watching this, you're all amazing, and I never expected this in a million years. Life was less busy last year, and so I thought, well, let me keep myself in practice and just break down music videos and talk about the cinematography, and that way I can keep my brain fresh for when we actually start shooting things again. And I just had never heard. I knew of BTS. I didn't know any of their music. I didn't know anything about them, and so I did Dynamite, which I'm very lucky that that's their only English song because I didn't know that either. So I just sort of watched it and I loved it. And then, people started watching the videos, much to my shock. Those first few weeks, I was a little shell shocked. I was like, what do I do? And people started saying like, we should have a name. So you're not just like, hey, YouTube friends, or hey, everybody. And so I put out a poll and had people suggest, and there were some really, I can't remember all the suggestions, like the Cedricals as like a play on the Madrigals, which are a traveling group of actors and singers, which I thought was was pretty brilliant. The Cedric Tunes, I think, was one. The Giggles, play on my last name, Gegel. I think someone said the Bagels, cool. Which is like the Gegel Bagels. So there were some great ones, but because people know so many Cedrics, my whole life I've had nicknames. Because everyone knows like 10 Cedrics, right? And so the base nickname for a lot of people was Sedge, and then from there was like Sedgy Bear. One person used to call me Sedgehammer, which felt good. But a lot of the ones people really liked was Sedgehog, and it wasn't like they'd be like, "Oh, what's up, Sedgehog?" Like it was usually Cedric, Sedge, but I always thought Sedgehog was really funny, and so I kind of. I went to add it, and then someone was like, "What about Sedgehogs?" And I was like, "Cool, now I don't have to add it to the form." And it won like 60% of the vote or something. Like it was, everyone liked it. So it's just like cute. Everyone loves a hedgehog, right? And
man. I had the chat pulled up. I don't know if you pulled up the chat for the YouTube or not, but there's so many people saying that they love you in here. So you got the Sedgehogs are legit, man. The Sedgehogs are legit.
They legit. I say this in every video, and I always worry that it's going to come across as inauthentic, but like. I really feel lucky to have this, and I'm sure you feel the same way. The subscribers that I have and the support, like it's been nuts. And you work so hard for you in music, and you're a wonderful musician, by the way. I listened to your music when I was watching Hamilton.
Appreciate that.
I pulled you up on Spotify. I had a drive. I was going on a hike, and I listened to you for a while. So I
appreciate that.
I like your stuff.
Thanks,
I like your stuff, G.
Well, your movie's on my list. I plan to watch it.
Thank you. But.
You work so hard
to it. Thing. There you go. Just if you don't like anything, just cut that part out.
Well, you already told me you came here from Hamilton, not me. So I mean,
that's right. Fair enough. I deserve that. But yeah, it's you work so hard at this, and you're trying to gain any sort of foothold, and the Sedgehogs have. I don't know if you feel this way, but with reactions, there's sort of an element of like. You feel like you have to add something, which is why like you analyze stuff so well. Because I don't just want to like steal BTS's content for clicks. Like that is to me It's not ethical for whatever ethics there are on YouTube. But I wanted to bring something to the conversation, and so the Sedgehogs and the way that they've responded to that has really made me feel like I'm earning that, and like the work that I put in for years to learn how to analyze and learn how to do shots and learn acting technique and everything is like it's a nice affirmation of that, because music and film, like they're both such brutal industries that it is nice in a way.
You know what's also nice though, I gotta say, is like you just said, to piggyback on that you said this is brutal industries, but I like seeing success from young people, and that's one of the things that that's like one of the most important things on my channel is like, look, I'm not that different than you or than any other people. Like I say this to my subscribers, like than any of the I'm not different than any of them. Like if I just put in a stupid amount of work, like I have 3,000 YouTube videos. Like I'm like, if you want to do that, then put out 3,000 YouTube videos, and like there's no like it's like I think people forget that people see that, oh, you know, Jake, like you have whatever 60,000 subscribers. I'm like, yeah, but like it took 7 years, like, you know what I mean? Like
and that's what's been so stunning is because I started this in October, and it's like, whoa, you know. But even then, like it takes work to make it with a level of quality, you know, that's entertaining. And man, there was something you said that really struck a chord with me, and I lost. Oh, you said we're not that different, and that's absolutely true, because people will ask, anybody that's an actor watching this has had this happen, where you say, oh, I'm an actor, and someone goes, oh, what have you been in? And it's like that's like asking an accountant whose taxes they've done. Like it's a job, and most of the things that I've been in, you probably will never see. A lot of them end up in $5 bins at Walmart, and that is great. That doesn't mean they're bad things. It's just really hard to be in the Avengers, and so like it's a job, and it's not. And now, granted, there are certain people that I freak out. Like I met Sally Field on set once and like lost it. But then other people, I don't lose it. Like I got to hang out with Andre 3000, and that was cool, and like we were chill. But then there was Sally Field, and I'm like, you're Sassy the Cat from Homeward Bound. Like you're a whole new level of like you're amazing. But a lot of other people, like it's a job, you know. And YouTube in a way is no different. If you're treating it with, 100%. I like to think if you're treating the subscribers with the respect that they deserve, then you should approach it like a job. Because if they're gonna put in time to watch your videos, then you should care.
Absolutely, man. So what have you been in? No, I'm just kidding.
Have you ever been to the $5 bin at Walmart? No. Have you been to a lot of really small indie film festivals?
That's funny. No, but so that's cool, man. So is BTS is that who a lot of you focus on your channel, that you do a lot of the reactions to their stuff?
Yeah, I've also done Dimash, and
I saw that actually.
Yeah, have you experienced Dimash yet?
Yeah, I have actually. And I'm gonna be honest, and people might hate me for saying this. His voice, I really enjoyed the music, but I got so much hate in the comments because I talk too much. I'm like, look, I'm not like, like, I'm sorry, but like, it was like an overwhelming amount of hate. Like, of course I get all the comments, but I was like, this isn't worth it. If you guys are just gonna bash like me talking about it,
I have been there, and I sort of adjusted the way that I approach it. I think it's really good that people are really passionate about him, and I understand that perspective. But also, I think it's a reaction video and it's an analysis video, Absolutely. And so we're gonna talk. But that's each reactor has their own style, and people want to see different things. So I just my thing comes down to this, because most of Dimash's fans, the Deers that have come to my channel, have been amazing. But there were certain comments that I guess the people deleted because other people kind of were like, "Hey, you're being really mean."
For sure.
But I don't get hate in general online. Like I don't get
like you don't receive it or you don't understand it.
Well, both, I get. Oh, I receive it. No, I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. I receive it, yes. And I guess anybody that's watched my videos knows where I'm going with this. But Star Wars, I really liked Star Wars Episode 8. And I tweeted once about how much I liked Star Wars Episode 8. And Star Wars retweeted me, which was dope.
Whoa.
And what then happened
that's wild.
Yeah, and then I got like dozens, maybe hundreds of people tweeting back about how stupid I was what was wrong with the world. I'm a trash person. And I was like, bro, chill. Like it's a fantasy movie about space wizards with glow sticks. Like I love Star Wars more than anyone I know, but like, let's let's chill here. Let's take the narrative down a notch. And so I think it's a similar thing with that, where people are very protective about what they love. You know, BTS has done the same thing where, and usually it's justified. Someone will say something usually racist, and the army will like take them down. And that's not what I'm talking about. That's not hate. That's like protecting and you know, taking down someone that's being racist. But if someone's just talking too much in a video for you, like, just click out of it. You don't have to be like, you're awful at what you do. Like, just go somewhere else, man. Like,
some
just
of them are wild.
Button. Yeah, go eat a marshmallow. Like, there's other things to do with your day. Like, there's sun outside, and there's like cool movies to watch, and like, I've never understood that. Like, because I've seen videos I don't like, and I just maybe I dislike it, but more often I usually just back out of there and go watch football highlights. You know?
Yeah. So there are so many questions asking me about editing. Can you? I don't know what that is. Obviously, it's a play on your word and editing, but like, I gotta elaborate on that.
So editing is me when I'm editing. Okay. Some people have theorized that it's a different person. It is not. It's just me making fun of myself. So editing, it's the way that I cut it, but I also add these captions where if I say something stupid, or which is very common, I'll leave a comment like making fun of myself. My favorite that I've ever seen that people kind of latched onto, because it was in a bunch of the comments, I called myself an illiterate pug for saying, I forget what I said, but just like, I'll just insult myself. And I think it's really funny because sometimes people will be like, hey, you should be less harsh on yourself with your captions. And I'm like, no, guys, like, I used to be really depressed. Like, I'm good now. I went to therapy. Life is like, things are way better. And by the way, if you're struggling with mental health, that's a real thing. You matter, and you should take care of yourself, and I believe in you. And I 100% mean that. But that's where I was. I'm not there anymore. So I feel a lot more comfortable like poking fun at myself and like knowing who I am. But like, I think because I went through that, I know how to like take shots at myself and hopefully make it funny and kind of, because I'd rather make fun of myself than anybody else. You know, like it's not bullying if it's me.
Sure. It's funny to see like some of the most random things kind of like stick around on the channel. Yeah. Like you just said, like the illiterate pug. Like there's some random thing like
that just sticks in your head. Yeah.
Well, but like a funny thing on my channel is like I recently I post a vlogs on my channel. I post like a hub. My channel is a hub for just content, whether it be vlogs or guitar videos or Hamilton stuff or interviews. So I posted this vlog about me. Like it was titled "I Got Robbed." I just got robbed. And it was essentially me saying that I got, like, it was highway robbery by, like, a coffee shop that sold me a $4 black coffee. And it was it was like a joke, but it was like 5,000, they got like 5,000 views, which for a vlog from you was crazy. You know what I mean?
I saw that and I almost clicked on it, but I was like, I gotta go because I was like late for a set or something, and then I just don't think I ever got around to watching it. But I was like, he got robbed. Like I saw it pop up my feed. I was like, what, Jacob? No. So
okay, but that being said, like that has stuck around. Like everybody comments on the $4 coffee now. Like I just in my Discord I started a meme channel, so like when I make ridiculous faces or they pause it and they see ridiculous face, they can meme it. Yeah, and I thought that was really fun. And like many memes are about the $4 coffee and stuff, and it's just like it's so random but so funny, man. And it's like not gonna leave.
There was one last week that I know is gonna stay because I accidentally like double pressed record on my camera, so I didn't record like the second half, which right, because you can't re-record that. Like you're trying to, it's a first time. So I drew 6 versions of my own face, and I'm terrible at art. And then I just kind of edited them together, and everyone named it Seti. And Seti, they've all been like, he needs to stay. And so Animated Me is now taking over. And
I like it.
Yeah, it's good. It's fun. Yeah, I'm just really bad at art. It was so embarrassing to put that out because I'm so bad at art. But
that's
people
the fun
like
part about it, man. That's the fun part. It's like it shows that you're human. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. Because I show I'm human very, very often. But that's it. Like I think people see the success that we might have had. You know, whatever, because like we're showcasing like our talent. Like if you like, I speak about music, and like that's my job. I know music. Obviously, like I'm good at it because that's my job. And like people compare it, but oh my gosh, I'm like, bro, like if I go talk to my accountant, I'm like trying to like take notes, be like, what, you know, because obviously like, it's so different. So you just it's when we show, I think that I suck at this. Like I'm a horrible speller, and they know that. They joke about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like they're like, oh, he actually isn't just another guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and I think that too, like even in our art, right? Like we grow and we get better at things. Like
100%.
I hope you all go watch Kadia if you're in the U.S. And I made that like it's almost 3 years ago that we shot that, which is amazing. And what we did, we shot feature film in 13 days is like unheard of. It was like 12, 13-hour days dealing with weather and big cast and frankly inexperience on my end. And so it's hard sometimes for me to like watch it and think about the things that I would do differently. But then I also watch it and go, you know what? I've seen a lot of indie films at this budget level and like, this is good for that budget level and like the schedule that we had and like my experience level. And even notwithstanding that, like there's a lot of good things about it. And so I have to like, sometimes when we look at you look at yourself and you're such a harsh critic. And then I'll have like people randomly send me message requests and I'll like open it and they'll be like, hey, I just watched the movie with my kids and they said it's their favorite movie. And it's like you can be so critical about yourself for like my drawing, but then people go, oh, we love that. That's so funny. And you're like, wow. Okay. Well, I feel
how do you spell it again? I want to make, I'm putting it in the pinned comment. How do you spell it?
CADIA.
Okay. That's what I had. Okay.
The World Within. Yeah. All right. So if anybody wants to go watch it, give it a watch. Enjoy it. The cast is amazing. I really loved everybody. The team that was amazing. If you didn't like it, I'm so sorry, but I hope you did.
You know what's funny is like people are allowed to have like quality. I guess what I'm trying to say is quality is subjective, and it's
yes.
People think that I'm gonna get so offended when they don't like something. And I'm like, or people make a comment, be like, hey, I wasn't a big fan of this, and I'm like. Not being rude, but then people are like, "Oh, stop bashing his." I'm like, "Look, you have no obligation to like my music or my products or any of this stuff." It's like, so like, because there are plenty of artists I don't like. So you know what? Like, it's all good, man. And
there's like, a lot of movies that I can watch and go like, "That is so well made," and I do not like it. Exactly. And that's just like that's a personal thing, And then there's other movies that people don't like that I really like. And then there's one movie that everyone likes that I also like, and that's Paddington 2. But everything else, it's like, up in the air.
Absolutely. What's the next thing on your film list?
So we've got a feature film.
So what's a feature film versus, I guess, an indie film, or what's the alternative?
Well, yeah. So there's a short film, which is anything under 45 minutes is kind of the standard for a short film, and then 45 minutes and over is kind of like your feature length, what you might see in a movie theater or popping up on Netflix or something.
I've never seen a feature film that's like 50 minutes though.
You know what I mean? I've seen one or two maybe that are that short, but usually it's an hour or longer. Like Kadia's hour 22.
Yeah.
So
well, that seems like normal. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the length that we go for. But I'm working on an indie feature that it's about sort of the meeting place of religion and mental health. So I'm a person of faith, but a person that's gone through a lot of deconstruction and reconstruction in my faith and a lot of journeys with that. So this film is kind of an exploration of that experience. And I can't say who's attached, but we've got two really good actors who I really, really like and admire that are attached. And we're trying to get some more, which is cool, that's the hard part. And then I also wrote another feature that's a kind of a coming of age drama comedy about a group of teens that kind of deals with themes of grief between generations. I'm having a meeting tomorrow about a new screenplay that I might be brought on to write, which is super exciting. And then I'm also working on a musical and I'm writing a TV comedy series with some friends that we're shooting the pilot for next week. So yeah.
So how does that so two questions actually. I'm going to say both of them before I forget, because I always seem to forget my second question. First question is about the pilot, how that works. So let's hold that one. Can you elaborate? Like, so I'm also a person of faith too, and it's so funny. Like every single interview I have, that keeps happening. It's like, that's so cool. I just so many of these interviews, people have asked like, hey, are you like intentionally getting people with similar beliefs to you on the channel? I'm like, no, it literally just keeps happening, and it just keeps coming up, which is probably not a coincidence.
Yeah, right.
So can you go, because that's real, because I've struggled and I talk a lot about it on my channel with anxiety, like panic attack anxiety. And like you said, if anybody struggles with that, definitely consider getting help, whatever that might be for you. I think
exactly.
It changes. It's different for different people. So and also being a person of faith, which I got to be honest, like I don't know how I would have gotten through it without faith. Honestly, I would not have had any hope that this would ever end.
Yeah.
Honestly. So I'm curious. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more?
Yeah.
Like, on the plot of the movie, maybe? I don't know what you're able to share, what not you're not able to share, but
yeah,
you know.
I'll touch on some of the themes that are present in the movie that because the movie it's not like it's autobiographical. You know, so for example, I had to clarify with someone in my life that like, hey, if we make this movie and you see it, like this character is not based on you.
Okay.
It seems like it would be based on you, but it's not based on you. Also, please don't think that it's one of those. But yeah, so it's interesting that you said like getting through it, your faith was so essential to that, because I think mine was essential for it as well. But also I think in a huge degree, maybe not my faith, but my religion caused it. This like downward spiral into depression that started in high school and kind of really reached a peak when I was in college. And it was so difficult because I was such a like faith, and that's like the thing, and it's real and it's true. And then I didn't know how to question that. And I didn't know how to like question what I had always grown up believing. And, you know, particularly for me, it was that I suddenly found myself surrounded by, you know, to get really like straight up honest with you, surrounded by people that were LGBTQ plus. And I had always grown up being told this is wrong. And I started to really be like, I don't think it can be. And like, that took so much of me just like wrestling and fighting with that, because I was just looking at it going like, this doesn't make sense. And then I started really digging into what I'd always believed and started going, you know what, I actually, maybe this isn't all just black and white. Maybe that's not the point of all this either. Maybe it's about exploration and questioning, and maybe faith can't exist without doubt. And right as I was starting to wrestle that, I got in a car accident. So I was in the back seat of a car, and I got rear-ended by somebody and hit my head on the seat and the window next to me. And I don't remember almost anything from the next 6 months. So I
are you serious?
Yeah. So I had a severe concussion and retrograde amnesia. So I really don't remember like anything. I broke up with my girlfriend.
You were awake?
Yeah, I was awake. I was awake. I was up. I was going to college. Like
serious?
I was in class. I dated somebody and do not remember the entire relationship. I found out via Instagram that like for like 3 months. Like, whoa. Yeah, I don't remember any
wild.
of it. And then there was like another 6 months where it's kind of just spotty and like really questionable decision making. And that's kind of when the mental health thing like really was like hitting me hard, because I was dealing with all these things.
Sure.
And so I went to therapy.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, let me actually just like air this out. And I think that there's 3 things that are essential to really knowing yourself and knowing other people. And that's humility, vulnerability, and dignity. And I had to learn to ascribe those things to myself, to be humble, to be vulnerable, and to be dignified. Like I have worth. I also have things I need to learn, and to really kind of try to grow through that. And so I learned those at a church I started working for after college briefly, called Jacob's Porch. If you're in Columbus, Ohio, and you're a college student, it's a great place. But so you think that's pretty bad, right? But I'm getting through the mental health thing. And then I decide through that, you know what, I'm just going to jump in and be an actor. Like this is, I've got to do this thing. Cause like when you start questioning who you are and you're starting to rebuild who you are, you start to go like, what am I here for?
Sure.
What am I here to do? And sure. I realized like performance was it. Like, that's what I loved. So 3 weeks after I decided to switch majors and I changed majors, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh my gosh!
So, yeah,
bro.
things were going so great in Cedric's world.
The
Cedrics are like, you don't talk about this with us. Yeah, because it's sad. But so I was diagnosed with this. I had a tumor in my left elbow. You can maybe see the scar a little bit, sure. You can see how it's a little bit darker too.
Scar,
yeah. So it's epithelioid hemangioendothelioma, which rolls off the tongue. It was a blood vessel cancer, and there's only like a couple dozen cases a year in the U.S. And boy was one of them. So I had to get radiation therapy 5 days a week and have 4 surgeries on it. And through that, it was kind of like me going like, are you going to do this acting thing? Because I mean, they had talked about just amputating my arm. And so it was like, they saved it so that I could keep acting and dance and theater and stuff. Otherwise they were like, the easiest thing to do is to just, but we're going to do everything we can to save it. And I will never forget, I was in Beauty and the Beast at the Palace Theater, which is this beautiful 3,000 seat theater. If you guys want to hear a song from it, it's on my channel, If I Can't Love Her. But I played the Beast in this beautiful sold out 3,000 seat theater. Wow. And the Beast has a lift with Belle. And, you know, the choreographer was working to make sure that my arm wasn't involved because I can only lift about 20 pounds with that arm because basically just like eggshell in the elbow. Wow. And so they choreographed the lift to be with my right arm, and my nurse came to see the show. And she came to the stage door after, the nurse who had been there for, radiation therapy, every surgery. And she was just like sobbing. And she was like, this is why we did this, was for that moment right there. And I just
Bro,
like,
you're going to make me cry.
I'm like tearing up remembering it.
Not going to lie. I'm like about to cry on this.
Yeah. Cause you think about the people that have aided you on your journey. And then that became a part of my faith journey, was like, they don't have to be the same faith as me to have shown me love and to have shown me, God, whatever God is. And for me, it's Jesus and the Christian God, but like they don't have to believe in that to show me that. And
absolutely,
it became this beautiful journey of reconstruction and deconstruction and then reconstructing again. And then this is probably a surprise to Cedric. This is breaking news. I don't think I've ever talked about this on my channel because she prefers to kind of stay separate from things, but I'm married and my wife is in seminary. So she's actually studying to be a pastor.
Cool.
So I'm kind of constantly surrounded by doubts and questions and really complex stuff and Hebrew translations, and like it's such an active intellectual place to be. So
I love
it's
that.
really exciting. Yeah,
absolutely.
All the TED Talks are like, why did you never tell us this? Like, I don't know, it just never came up, guys.
Well, dude, I have to say, man, like if your story doesn't prove anything, and I'm sure you might have heard this before, but like you have a serious purpose on your life if you've gone through all of that and you're still kicking, like.
Yeah, well, I mean, the obvious purpose, I got to catch them all, is like the obvious.
No, for real, man.
Purpose.
Though, for real, like,
yeah,
I really, that's amazing, and to see that you're still a fun guy, it's a huge testimony, man.
Yeah. Well, at some point, you don't have another option. It's like you better learn to laugh.
I would disagree with that. I think that the other option is just complete depression and being a miserable person.
True, but I'd already been there, so I was like, I don't want to do that again. That wasn't fun.
I hear you, man. Well, I want to congratulate you and say that that's amazing, and I highly respect that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah, yeah. One could say that, bro. I don't even know where to go here in this interview after that.
I've lived a lot of life in 26 years.
Yeah, I believe that. Oh my gosh. The chat is freaking out with the fact that you're married at the moment. Oh my god.
Sorry, everybody. She's very pretty and very kind and very smart, and I like her.
How long have you been married?
We got married in 2018.
Cool. So did me and my wife.
When in 2018? Oh my god. June. Was it June?
No, I was like, I thought you were asking me if, or your wife or something like that. No,
no.
I was married in November.
Oh, so I beat you. What's up?
Yeah, you did.
No, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this: how long have you been together?
Okay, is it 2021 now?
Mm-hmm.
6 years.
10 years. Beat ya.
Yeah, 5 years. So yeah, you got me good there. But that's all right. That's good too. 10 years is great, man. So congrats. This is a decade. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. What a story, though. So where would you like to see your career going? Like, what does your career look like?
Can I give the Dumbledore answer from Deathly Hallows and just say on?
Okay.
I think as long as there's stories to be told and as long as I get to tell them and have some hand in telling them, that's amazing. But for me, it's obviously, you want to get bigger. If Star Wars calls, I will answer. I will do anything. I will play a log. Okay. You hear me, Kathleen Kennedy? I will do it. But I think for me, it's like, I just want to keep acting. I want to keep doing it. And I want to act in things that matter and make films that matter. So I want every film that I make, I want to improve on the previous one. And that's the way we succeed in art and acting. For me, it's, I don't necessarily want to be a celebrity. Michael Caine once said, I'm going to do a bad Michael Caine impression. He said, I don't recommend being a celebrity, but I would recommend being a movie star. And so the point of that is, like, you can star in movies without being a celebrity. Like, just being a movie star would be great, where you're just like in a bunch of movies. You know those people where they're like, oh, I've seen him in like everything. I want to be that guy. Like, that would be great. But I do want to I want to get famous enough to do one of the following two things. Hopefully both of them. I want to be a guest on the Graham Norton show because I love Graham Norton. And I want to, when my career starts to fade, which it inevitably will as the creeping march of age comes toward us, I want to host like a cooking or food show on Netflix where they just like take me around the world and I just like eat tacos and stuff. And I'm like, this tastes good. Let's go somewhere else. Like I want to do that for like 6 months.
Dude,
and then I'll be like, I made it. You know?
That is so funny because like, you hear like, unless you like have like such driven goals like you and I do, like you don't hear a lot of people talk like that. And like one of my goals that I said forever, like one of those kind of more obscure ones is like, I'll know I made it when I'm sitting on the Ellen show. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Just, like Ellen would be fun too. Yeah,
it's just one of those things. It's like you like that's the level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just one where, just like you take it project at a time and creation at a time, and you improve on yourself.
Exactly. I just made a video on the channel that says why I don't set goals, and it was essentially saying that it's like I have these dreams that I try to set to, but I'm not saying like, hey, I want to have a Grammy award by the time I'm 30, like, because that's like so out of my control. You know what I mean? It's like,
and that's work towards huge. That. Yeah, because I could sit here and say I'm gonna make, I'm moving to Rhode Island next month, which is super exciting, and I could sit there and go, I'm gonna get to Rhode Island and I'm gonna make 5 short films before the end of the year. But no, because then I have to come up with 5 film concepts that are good enough to write and to shoot and to edit and to release. Yeah. And you're really lucky if you come up with like 2 of those a year. So like, you can't put so much pressure on creating, because creating is exhausting. So you have to just say, I want my next film to do these 3 things, and then you can go do those 3 things. But that's different, So it's just like you said. Like I could sit here and say I want to win an Oscar at. On my podcast, I just had Emma O'Hara, who's a lovely actress from Scotland, and she talked about Saoirse Ronan, who's 26, the same age as us. And it's like, well, she's got like Oscars and stuff. And we're looking, if we compare ourselves to her, then we're failures. But if I look at other people, well, then I'm amazing. So what if I just didn't compare myself to anyone, because that's the thief of joy. And I just lived my life and created my art as best as I can. And as long as I'm doing that, then I'm having success.
Absolutely. And like you said, and like we were saying, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with setting the goal of winning an Oscar. It's just like when you start to like time frame it and compare it to, so and so did in 3 years, and so it's like then you get miserable. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's really cool. I love the taco thing though.
I love tacos. I love tacos. I love chips and queso. Oh, I just got to go like Cedric Eats Tacos. That's the name of the channel. Like it's just going to be me eating tacos.
Put it on the channel. I'm not joking. Put it on the channel and do a vlog channel. You try different tacos everywhere. But there are so many questions in the chat about asking me. So the funny thing about the chat is like some of these could be loaded questions. I have no idea what I'm asking. You know what I mean? But like they want me to ask about BU.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know. I don't even.
You're like, these are loaded questions, and I'm like, I already talked about my like toxic depression and cancer. Well, like, how much more heavy are we gonna get? They find out I'm married. They're like, what else are we gonna learn? He's actually a golden retriever.
Yeah, I gotta edit this. This title. It says movies, reactions, and more. Like much more. So the BU. I guess if it's just like BU question mark, they just want me to give my thoughts on it. What is BU?
So I don't even know. It's the Bangtan universe. So BTS has this you probably heard of it. Yeah, it's this whole like
yes.
So anybody watching that doesn't know, it's this universe of like BTS music videos that tell one storyline. And the thing that excites me about it is there's not a lot of things that we get to watch and try to guess where it's going. I said this in my last video. It's like Game of Thrones, it was like that with that, which was so exciting. And that was like a worldwide phenomenon of being like, oh, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? Yeah. Star Wars, that sort of thing. Harry Potter when the books were coming out. So we don't really have things of that scale. And Bangtan Universe is so intricate and the details are so important that it's been super exciting. For you guys watching this live, I'm like exporting the tomorrow's video like as I finish this. I got my vaccine this week, like I told you, Jacob. So like Tuesday and Wednesday and half of Thursday were like a total wash for me getting anything done. So I did not get the edit done on time, but it's remarkably intricate, and I absolutely love what I'm watching. Like I feel like you guys will always see me drinking coffee during the Bangtan Universe reactions because that's my second cup of the day. Because I have to put myself in such a like hyper focused way to watch those videos specifically because they're so intense, and I love the artistry. Why did I say that so weird? The artistry behind them. Like, it's so interesting.
Yeah, interesting. That is really interesting. So I'm curious now. So how does your YouTube channel, or how has your YouTube channel helped her? How is it? Let me rephrase. Affected in any way, shape, or form your career? How do they go hand in hand? Are they totally separate? Like, I'd love to know your. Is it an ends to a mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like
yeah. No, I'm exploiting all of you. It's helped, which I didn't really expect. Again, I just sort of like wanted to do it. I didn't have like a game plan, but I've had meetings where I've been in an audition over Zoom, you know, sitting right here, and a producer's been like, "Hey, my daughter watches your videos." Like that, so cool, that happened once, and I was like, "Oh, wild!" Like, he didn't say whether she liked them or not. So, but you know, I've had a producer say like, "Yeah, of course we Google people before they come on, and like, just so you know, like that's a huge asset," which is cool. Like, it's neat that they know that, and it has been really cool when like trailers have dropped for things that I've been in, like the Corners Assistant series that I'm in, and like I mentioned it in a comment, and then I went and like watched it, and there were just a bunch of comments from Cedric being like, "This looks so good," and like that's like cool. that is so like heartwarming to me. So
that is really cool.
To me, it's like ultimately what works in this industry, and I assume it's similar in music, is you have to be talented, you have to be a remarkably hard worker, and you have to be an extraordinarily genuine person to achieve actual lasting success. And I think that YouTube has helped me show that I am that. Like, I'm not pretending to be someone in the videos. I pretend to be someone for a living, so it would be exhausting to do that at home too. Sure. So I think it's helped with that. And yeah, people have said like, "We're casting you because of this. Would you like talk about the film in a video?" And you know, of course I'm happy to help the production like that. And Ced Talks have been super supportive and amazing about it. But you know, ultimately I'm doing it because people care and they want to watch it, and sure. As long as they're showing up to watch things, like I'd love to continue making them as best as I can.
Absolutely. So the wife's never in any videos, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Neither. So that's funny. Our wives can start a secret non-video podcast because mine.
They probably already have one, don't they?
Yeah, they probably do. That's so funny. It's like, because I talk about being married pretty frequently, but like Jamie is so rarely in any videos. Like, you can obviously go to my Instagram and see her, but like
that's my thing. Is like, she's on my Instagram. Like, you can find her. Like, exactly. I retweet her sometimes. She's cool. She's really smart.
Yeah,
I got a good one, guys.
Yeah. So do I. And they're probably just off in this secret. They're like that. They don't want the extra attention because it would I don't know, expose their secret podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's amazing. So how did you even get into reactions? What inspired that?
I like reaction videos.
Okay.
I think I found them one day. I love the Disturbed Sound of Silence cover. I think it's one of the best covers of all time. And so I was watching it, and it was like recommended was like reaction to, and I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. And I like clicked it. And then like 10 hours went by, and I watched like every reaction on YouTube to the song. I was like, this is so cool. So I started watching like Star Wars reactions or Harry Potter reactions or Hamilton, for example, when that was coming out. And I was like, you know, I feel like I could do this and talk about the way they're filming things. Like, I feel like I could add something to this conversation. Yep. I really like watching vocal coaches because, you know, as a singer, like I do musical theater and I sing a lot. That was one thing I did on my YouTube channel. It was really scary because I haven't done theater in so long that I was like, I have to get used to like just performing and like taking risks. So I started recording songs and like putting them up, and thank goodness people have liked them. So it'd be like soul shattering if they were like, "You suck." But I like watching vocal coaches talk about things because it helps remind me of techniques and how I can approach things. Or, of course, use that vowel. That makes sense. So I was like, I could kind of do that with film, like talk about why they're using a close-up there. Or as any Sedgehog knows, like I love Dutch angles. So it's like, oh, there's a Dutch angle. That's so cool. It means this. They're using it for this reason. Like, it was, you know, I just thought, well, I can keep my mind fresh and also maybe help teach some people things that they've never really been exposed to. Because there's so many other things that we learn about in the world that you don't really learn cinematography or sound design.
Absolutely, and it just gives a fresh perspective on it. I completely agree with you. So it's a similar story, man. I was like, oh, I could talk about music a little bit more. You know what I mean? It's funny. Dude, somebody made a comment though, and I was just laughing at it. Shout out to Kim Yoon B. Said the secret wives of YouTube. I could see that. I could see that being like the next in 10 years, the next reality show.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
So secret wives of YouTube.
Mob wives or what is it? Jersey, whatever.
Jersey,
whatever.
whatever it is. Yeah,
NBA
it should just be like
wives.
secret spouses of YouTube, and it's like 10 YouTube stars that are like. They have to go like work really hard at some like blue collar job and then our spouses just get to hang out and tell stories about how terrible we are. Not that you're a YouTube star. I'm just a guy. Yeah, I'm signing on, man. Depends on the pay. Like if we can get a cut of the ad revenue. I already make fun of myself. What are they gonna say? You know?
Yeah, exactly. No, but it is funny though. Could you imagine that? That'd be pretty cool.
I'd watch it honestly.
So can you watch movies objectively? Or is it always like
no? Being an actor and a filmmaker ruins watching movies. You're really lucky if you can. I'm gonna talk about this in tomorrow's video, but the willing suspension of disbelief is a core aspect of storytelling. So what you have to, the audience is responsible for this, but they have to reach a point where they are willingly suspending their disbelief, where they are no longer going, oh, that's Cedric. Anybody that's watched my videos knows the YouTube, hey, Uncle Kenny, football, yeah. Like you have to be able to suspend the disbelief of going, that's Cedric, and go, oh, that's Dylan in We Love You Not. Or, oh, that's James in The Coroner's Assistant. That's not Cedric. It's just like that's not Mark Hamill, that's Luke Skywalker. There's a suspension of disbelief that you have to put on. And it's really hard to turn that off when you make them. But if I can, that means they're doing a really good job. So some recent things that I've seen that really nailed that, like Knives Out. It helps if I'm really passionate, like Star Wars, obviously, sure. I can slip into it, but like Knives Out did a really good job with that. Nomadland, I thought it was just such a beautiful and melancholy film that it was really easy for me to turn that part of my brain off and kind of slip into it. Promising Young Woman.
I've seen a lot
Westworld.
Of that. I haven't seen that
yet.
It's
painful but really good. Westworld season 1 was another one where I was kind of like, oh, like this, because you know the 3-act structure, you know what they're trying to get you to believe, you know why they're picking certain shots. So if they can make me turn that off, good on them, because it's hard for me to do.
So what are some you mentioned like things you're passionate about. I'm curious if you had movies as a kid that you loved and then rewatch and now as like a professional you're like, this is horrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's somewhere the comedy hasn't aged well, obviously, coming out of the 90s and early 2000s, where it's like, okay, that's not funny anymore. But no, for the most part, the movies I loved as kids are like still bangers. Sure. It's like Homeward Bound, Home Alone, and Home Alone 2.
Of course.
I did not watch The Lion King growing up. We only had the VHS for The Lion King 2. So to me, like that is The Lion King. So like The Lion King 2 is still great. It's just Romeo and Juliet. Lion King is Hamlet. Lion King 1.5 is Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, they should make Lion King 3 and make it Macbeth. That would be so dark. It's just Simba. Like Simba just kills everyone. It's really uplifting. It's good. But no, I think most movies that I liked as a kid are still. We didn't watch a ton of movies growing up, so we didn't have cable when I was growing up. It was kind of a way that we were saving money. So we had like PBS. So I watched a ton of nature documentaries.
Bob Ross.
I never watched Bob Ross. Right? I watched it a couple of years ago.
My Bob Ross, bro.
I love that. I need to watch him so I can get better at art. But I should have been like, this is just a happy little accident. But I watched a lot of the Andy Griffith Show and I Love Lucy and Red Skelton and Gomer Pyle, like those old 40s, 50s sitcoms.
Sure.
Informed a lot of my childhood and my style of comedy. Probably the movie that I was okay with as a kid. And then as older I've gotten, and even as a kid, I was like, I don't like this. And even as I got older, like Aragon, just totally dropped the ball because I love the books. And it's not the cast's fault. Maybe it's not even the director's fault. Maybe it's the studio. I don't know what went wrong. I just know something did. And if Chris Paolini is looking for someone to adapt it and that loves the book, hit me up.
You know a guy. So one of my burning questions for you is what makes a good acting versus a bad acting? Like my wife just recommended. She's like, oh, I just watched this movie. You should watch it. And I watched it. And I was like, it was a good storyline, but like you could just tell that the acting was kind of subpar. and then you watch something else and you're like, you just, what is it? It's like so hard to tell. Like I don't, like, I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Well, even now it's you've asked a question that has plagued acting or actors for generations because it's
existential question.
It is. It's existential to a degree because what is good and bad when art is involved?
Oh man, but now you're getting super subjective.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
So
because you're right. My wife loved the movie, and I was like, this was good, but like the acting, I was like, did you notice that the acting was like whack or no? Like,
yeah, I recently watched a film that is extremely loved. It's considered one of the best films ever made, and I watched it and I went, eh. Like the film itself is spectacular, but the acting, I was like, no. And it's held up as one of those like great acting films.
Can you share the movie or?
I don't want to
that's
because
fine. That's totally fine. Totally fine.
The particular actor involved, if they happen to see this, could absolutely end my career. They're very famous, and they're a terrific actor. It's just in this, I was like, it's just one of those things that I think if you can catch someone acting. So for me, if I can look at someone and go, oh, that was a good choice, then it's pretty good acting. But if I'm not even thinking about their choices, that is terrific acting. If you want to see terrific acting, watch The West Wing. Because especially the first like 3 seasons of The West Wing, Martin Sheen, Allison Janney, Rob Lowe, everybody, that is like the best cast ever assembled. Game of Thrones, like you're not thinking about
Oh, absolutely.
You're not thinking about the performances, but when someone is going, in Hamlet, I see this all the time with Shakespeare. Shakespeare is the best example of overacting, which is always the culprit. It's very rarely underacting, but Hamlet, to be or not to be.
That's interesting.
You see a lot of actors go, to be or not to be. And a lot of English teachers would be like, brilliant, 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 brilliant. But this isn't an English text for you to write. Shakespeare did not care about your class. He cared about like getting enough money so he could like buy beer at the tavern that night and maybe support his family. Like that's what he cared about. So he cared about writing something that good actors can do. And pausing is not acting. And making your line a song is not acting. Those are things you can do to get to the point of performance. But tell me, if it's all about being introspective, then which of these two is better? If I go to be or not to be, versus if I go to be or not to be.
Yeah.
Now, neither of those are terrific, but the second one's so much more natural. It means something.
It's super fascinating what you said about like overacting versus underacting. That's actually, or not underacting. You didn't say that, but like the overacting is usually the culprit, which is fascinating. It's a really interesting perspective, and I would agree. Like you pointed it out, sometimes like you notice the problem, you just can't put words to it. Yeah, that's exactly it.
And it's almost always that the actor paused at a weird point, because so many actors think pausing is acting, but like it's not. Like your pause has to mean something, because you and I are talking right now and it's very natural, but then when we pause,
I felt the awkwardness in my chest when you were like, to be. I'm like, spit the line out, bro.
Yeah, and you see actors that are like, I'm going to make cool physical choices. Are you guys ready? I'm going to twirl. I'm going to play with my hair to show them I'm nervous. Like, look, no, I'm talking to a girl. I'm nervous. But you wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because girls are smart. And they're going to be like, he's nervous. So you're probably just going to kind of like here's a quick acting lesson for anybody watching.
Ooh, let's go.
Usually, if I and Sedchogs that have seen my videos know this, but if I really want you to listen to what I'm saying, I'm probably not going to move my eyes much, and I'm probably not going to blink very much, because staring is very intense. And if the camera is like right here, right beside my camera, I'm right beside where my camera is, I'm going to look like in that eye where you guys are looking, because my face is turned more toward the camera. But you'll notice that I still haven't blinked, because I want you to hear what I'm saying, because I want you to understand how important it is. And maybe I'll look away, but then at some point when I really want you to understand, I'll come back. Versus if I want to play down or play nervous a little bit, I might just flicker. Just not a huge thing. I might blink a little bit, but isn't that more nervous inherently?
Sure.
There's just a little bit more uncertainty with it. It's the little things like that. It's not like if you're playing nervous, you have to go, well, I just don't know if that's, I don't know if that's the right answer. Yeah. And a lot of actors default to that instead of just going, let me just breathe and kind of feel the scene out. And a lot of actors don't want to rehearse with it either and kind of feel out the truth of the moment. But ultimately, you're just playing a person. So like, be the person.
Exactly, and it plays into almost the authenticity that you were talking about. Like it's like real acting is authenticity. You're like you become the character rather than acting about the character. Like you said.
And it doesn't matter if the character's way over the top or if it's what's a good example? What's Back to the Future? What's the Doc? Is it just Doc? Right, that's his name, Christopher Lloyd's character. So over the top, ridiculous. Kylo Ren, when he's like, "Bring me the girl," like that. It's ridiculous, but Adam Driver did it and you believed him. It doesn't matter if the character's ridiculous. You can't think the character's ridiculous. The character doesn't think they're ridiculous. So you can't either. You can't judge your character. And I think a lot of people do. A lot of actors judge their characters and then play that judgment instead of accepting the truth of the character for who it is.
That's fascinating. That's really interesting. Dude, I got a whole lesson based on this.
You're going to take my job now. I'm going to show up to an audition and you're going to be there like, "What's up, bro?" I was like, "No, Jacob."
Bro, I would love to be I'm the kind of guy that I just want to do everything. I would love to be in, I mean, like no different than like Harry Styles, like who's been like obviously one of the biggest bands and groups in the world. And then he was in Dunkirk. And now I think he's in 2 other movies. Like, bro, why can't I?
He's doing well. You can.
So,
it's never too late to start.
Well, I'm not saying I'm going to start right now. I'm saying maybe 10 years, 20 years. Like, life is long, man.
Just wait until I've reached a point where, like, I'm doing well, and then start taking my breaks.
Then you can give me the hand up.
Right, exactly.
So I want to give a shout out to Anitra from Say What.
Yes, Anitra.
She's in the chat right now. She's saying what's up, and she's been walking you through the BU universe.
So great. Anitra's amazing.
Yeah, I just had her on the channel for Friday, a week ago.
Really?
Actually,
Awesome.
For an interview.
Awesome.
I mean, just similar to this, we just chatted forever. It was such an interesting conversation. So,
what's up, Anitra? Hey, hi, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Or should I say, hey, how's it going? Stay right into the...
How are you today? Are you doing well? It's great.
It makes a big difference, man. Well, I want to wrap it up because I don't want to take too much of your time, and I want to say first of all, thank you for taking it on the channel.
Of course,
it was really fun. I'd love to stay connected.
For sure.
How can everybody, other than going and watching your videos and subscribing, so like the links in the description if you want to check out his channel, definitely go do that.
Yes, please.
And like the videos and smash the like them and share them, send it to your grandma and everything. How can people support your channel? Or support you?
Yeah, social media is great. Twitter, Instagram. Hit me up. I tweet a lot of really stupid things.
Cedric Gegel?
Yeah, at Cedric Gegel. I'm the only me in the world. So I'm easy to find. But yeah, feel free to hit me up on social media. I love talking with people, whether it's about BTS or Dimash or I've got a new artist that I haven't reacted to yet that I got the reaction done. So I'm going to be releasing
Jacob Restituto?
It is not, but it will be soon.
I'm just kidding, man.
Or if it's, musical theater or Star Wars or anything like that. Like I think it's really hard to make things. It's really hard to create anything, songs, films, short films, music videos, anything. And so, just me as a person, like seeing the support that I've found via this has been really inspiring. And I don't think that I don't need it. It's not like I thrive on that. I don't look for that. But I think because I don't need it, it is so much more appreciated because I can just sort of accept it for being, it's not where I put my value, but it lets me know that my work is valued. And so if anybody wants to hit me up there and just sort of follow what I'm doing, and I'm doing some really cool and exciting things, and I can say that because the people making them with me are really cool and exciting people. So I know that they're going to lift me up when I inevitably fall. And
and
feel
hey,
free
if
to
they follow you
up.
on Instagram, they can see your wife.
That's right. Then you can. I'll have to post something soon where people can be like, "Hey, she is. Hey, that's her."
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. Well, I do have to say, man, the chat has been blowing up with people saying how much they really appreciate you and love you. And when you were getting really deep and stuff, they were really sending a lot of love. You should go back and just scroll through the chat. There's some really encouraging stuff in there. So, well, man, I really appreciate you on the chat. If you could just hang out for 2 minutes, I'm just going to end the stream. But thank you so much. If you want to say Thank you guys, everybody, so much for watching.
Yes,
really appreciate you. Definitely go check out his movie, Kadia, right?
Kadia, yeah.
Gosh, shoot. Kadia.
He's so close. See if you can find the Harry Potter reference in there, because James is in the movie. We snuck something in.
That's cool, man. I definitely plan to watch it. So when I watch it, I'll definitely talk about it on the channel. So in one way or another. Yeah. But so thank you so much for watching. Definitely go check out his stuff. Go check out his wife on his Instagram, and I'll see you guys.
I mean, you don't have to like check her out. You don't have to, but yeah, she's there. She's real. She's a real person.
All right, see you guys.